Back at it again, and we've got a video here that I found a little interesting because of what recently happened. Now, this is an older video from Campus Reform, but I thought it was quite interesting. The title of this: Students Shocked to Hear About National Debt. Interesting considering what recently went down. More government spending. Spending that is just absolutely out of control. Anyway, like, share, comment, hit that subscribe button if you're new. Let's dive on into this too. Let's check it out.
I'm Addison Smith with Campus Reform. We're at Arkansas State University today, seeing if students can guess what the current U.S. national debt is. After we reveal that $28.8 trillion price tag to them, we're going to be talking to them about Biden's proposed $3.5 trillion spending package. Do students think that we should be spending such exorbitant amounts of money given how much debt we're currently in? And do they fear that spending all this money is eventually going to reach a breaking point and we're going to see a collapse in our economy? Let's see what they have to say. If you had to take a guess as to what the current United States national debt is, what would you say it's at right now?
I say 50 million.
Probably a couple billion, at least.
Try a little higher.
Isn't there like trillions or something like that?
21 trillion or something like that. Like, it's a big number.
That's close.
Trillion, give me a number.
I'll give you
I was
that.
gonna say like in the billions.
Say 22 trillion.
And probably over a trillion. 23.
It's 28 trillion. 800 billion, almost at 29 trillion, and so on and so on and so on.
Oh my gosh.
I was way off.
That's insane. That's insane.
We need to find some money. That's a huge amount of money.
Why are we so far in debt?
It really doesn't surprise
Oh, well, it's quite interesting that you ask, my dear. Well, you know, those Democrats, you know, that a lot of people like to elect, well, they like to spend a whole lot of money, including in this last spending bill, you know, where they were sending money to protect other countries' borders and, you know, sent some money to our border, but put a stipulation in it. See, and this is the game. See, every single day, fam, this game comes back up. Play the game. I see the Democrats do it every single day. Another example for those that don't quite understand what the game is yet or how the Democrats play it. In that omnibus spending bill that just passed right before the holidays, speaking of that, hope you guys had a wonderful Christmas and a happy New Year. All right. Hope you had a good, you know, holiday time with friends and family. Anyway, in that omnibus spending bill, they provided money for the border. So they can say, hey, we provided funding for the border, right? See, that's the game. But what they won't tell you is that money could not be used to protect the border. There was a stipulation put in there. And you can look this up for yourself. It could not be used to protect the border. It could only be used for basically bringing people in and you know, processing people faster. But that's the game that they play. Oh, yeah, we provided funding for the border. What are you talking about? We provided funding. But they don't say that you couldn't use that funding to protect the border, to secure the border, to build a wall, to put out, you know, more Border Patrol officers. They don't say that part. But that is the game. And I don't believe Kevin McCarthy can play the game. And I don't believe he is actually even on our side. It's a facade. It's all a front, in my humble opinion. In my humble opinion, it's all a facade. And that's why I say, hold the line. What do y'all think? Let me know.
surprise me, honestly.
Like universal PreK, 2 free years of community college, funding for green housing projects and public housing projects. You think we should be spending all of that money on these projects right now? Do you think that the taxpayer should have to pick up the tab for someone's kindergarten education or community college?
That's a big no.
The 2 year, I do like that, but at the same time, it can be held back a little bit.
Some of the things that he would be paying for does sound nice to have, but it's hurting somebody. I mean, you might be given all those things, but somebody's paying for it.
You think we should spend that money?
Yeah, like use it for a good cause. Yeah.
I honestly feel like since we're so far in debt at this point, it doesn't matter.
If the money is going to be spent, it should be spent towards helping the citizens of the United States.
If we divided the debt up among all U.S. citizens, everyone would be in debt $86,000. And that's just going to keep adding up the more that the government's spending. So now do you see how this might be harming the citizens?
Yeah.
I mean, I could see that.
Change your mind?
Yeah.
Would you be okay with paying for someone else?
You know, it's crazy. It's crazy how just simply explaining something in a little bit of a different way gets people to open their eyes to the reality of it, to the truth. You know, you saw a few of those ladies there. Oh, well, you know, whatever. I mean, we're so far in debt at this point, it don't matter. Well, did you know, for example, if we split up this debt, everybody would be in debt almost $90,000. Each citizen of the United States would have to pay back $90,000. And that's continually growing on a daily basis. And then they all change their minds. So, you know, that's a bit encouraging, you know, for our daily discussions with different folks out on the streets, you know, just real life conversations with folks, because you have a great example of what to do in those moments. Because, listen, I'm guilty of it myself, of getting frustrated when someone makes like a very ignorant comment. For example, like that, you know, you tell them, yeah, we're in debt, you know, almost $30 trillion, and they're trying to spend another $3 trillion. Obviously, this is an older video. They just spent another, like, what was it, 2.7 trillion in the omnibus spending bill. But you know, and they say something ignorant like, "Oh, well, whatever, you know, don't matter." In the back of your head, you're like, "Oh my goodness, it does matter. It matters a lot, you know." But to see him just like flip it, explain it a little bit different way, and then they are like, "Oh, well, yeah, maybe this isn't such a good idea." That's encouraging. At least to me, it's very encouraging. I hope it's encouraging to you guys, and you know, hopefully, you know, we can all remember this moment, take something from it, and use it in our daily conversations, because that's what it's going to take to change this. Clearly, we see the government isn't going to do it for us. We have to do it ourselves. We have to be the change. I know this is corny. We have to be the change that we want to see. We have to be the what's the word I'm looking for? We have to be the ones pushing for it. And you know, a lot of these folks, you can't be too harsh. You gotta be soft with them. And yeah. But what do y'all think? Let me know in the comment section. What's some of the best strategies that you've seen work with folks when you're talking to them, you know, about some serious topics of discussion?
This is community college.
Yeah, every time you put it like that, I mean, it's always like a no, because you're already paying for your own things.
It's the land of the free. You know, you get to make your own decisions, but we also have to take that responsibility on. I have to be able to come up with my own means, you know.
I think we should honestly pay our debt off. It's just going to keep building up. They don't care. They're going to spend the money no matter what. They're going to make us pay.
Seeing what our government's already spending taxes on, do you trust them to actually put this towards something useful?
No, I'm not gonna lie. I don't really trust the government to put our tax money effectively towards anything.
Do you think that this is sustainable, or are you worried that eventually we're going to see an economic collapse if we keep spending like this?
There will probably be an economic collapse eventually.
I don't think that's sustainable.
I mean, I'm not sure how they're dealing with it, but they're dealing with it somehow.
It's going to be a problem. I just hope I'm not around. I hope I'm good.
Passing all of these spending packages and stuff, that burden now falls on the taxpayer to pay back.
Yeah, and then everything gonna start rising in prices and stuff.
Did I change your mind?
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did change my mind.
So maybe not a fan of this.
No, absolutely not. I'm not a big fan of Joe Biden either.
You're not alone in that boat, brother. You're not alone in that one. So, that guy said something interesting too. He said land of the free. And it made me think, maybe we should all decide whether or not we want to contribute to either paying taxes, or we all have to pay like a certain level of taxes. Like, hey, you got to pay, 10%, right? Flat rate, or 5%, something. Okay. We'll say 10%, just even number, right? Every citizen of the United States has to pay 10% tax. Flat rate across the board. Doesn't matter. But then you can, on top of that, you can, decide, hey, I want to pay towards border control, right? Or I want to pay towards, I don't know, the situation going on overseas. I want to spend money on that. Extra money. And each individual citizen can decide, where, the money that the taxes go beyond 10%. That 10% is that's still the same. Politicians get to decide where that 10% goes. Okay. But beyond that, you could add 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever percent on top of that to go towards some of these other things. And I think that would be really effective. Would it ever happen? No. This is just wishful thinking at this point. I mean, let's be real, let's be real. But I think that would be really, really effective, in my humble opinion. Or we could do something like, 15%, and 5% has to go towards paying down our old debt, and the 10% is the flat rate, 5% or 15% is the flat rate. 5% of that goes towards paying down the old debt, and the other 10%, Congress gets to decide what to spend that on, politicians, whatever. And then beyond that, you get to decide, where that money goes. On your tax form, you check some boxes. Hey, I want to add another 1% to go to this, another 2% to go to that. Hey, what do y'all think? Let me know in the comment section below. And yes, most people would save a lot of money. Most people just like, no, I'm keeping all my cash. I ain't spending a dime on anything. That's fine. Then Congress would have to get smart about how they spend that 10%. All that bloated spending would have to go out of the window. Like, share, comment, hit that subscribe button if you're new. Peace and love. I'm out.